Hey, you wild animals! Guess what? There's another episode on tap, and it features none other than my man, my high school homie, my second baseman, mi amigo, Justin Contreras. He is a correctional officer at the local pokey, and he tells me these stories, and I ask him these questions that incite the stories, and they incite even more stories. So it's pretty fantastic. It's good to catch up with them. It's a very good insight about jail and whether or not you're contemplating going or staying out of it. Hopefully this kind of leads you in the right direction. But if you decide to go to jail, there's good insight in here on how to stay alive, how to get drunk, which gangs to join, all that good shit. So, as always, sit back, relax, blast your earphones because I'm not speaking nearly loudly enough as indicated by the audio levels, and enjoy the mother clucking show. How do you eat string cheese, Narita? Do you peel it or do you like take chunk bites out of it? You peel it, you have to savor it. No.
Well, when I'm at work, I just eat chunks because I don't know if it's on or not, but I because
it is on.
The way the jail is built where I'm at right now is like the inmates can see me. The inmates can see me, so like I don't want them to watch me like.
You don't torture them.
String cheese and.
So you do enjoy torturing them a little bit,
or do you?
So that's good.
Only when they deserve it.
They always deserve it. That's why they're in jail.
Yeah.
So before we get too far, I pulled a sneaky on you. I like to record mid-conversation so the masses, like all 5 people listening, will hear us midway. They're like, "Oh, it's all casual."
It'll only be 4 because I'm one of the 5.
Yeah, let's go. There are a few, but yeah. Identify yourself. We're live. We're going. You have a wedding ring on.
Yeah.
Who are you?
Justin. The one and only Contreras.
One and only.
One of Aaron's few Mexican friends.
Oh my
from
God.
High school.
Yeah. You stuck through the years of neglect and abuse.
Yeah.
Emotional
I think
absence.
I've seen you more this last week than I have the last couple of years.
Couple years. Because I know Jordan hit it just right. And in the background there's Mean Girls, so if you hear something you like. Why is this movie so ageless? I love it. I could watch it. The limit does not exist.
I don't think I've seen the whole movie.
It's pretty explicit, but just look how jungleistic it is. Rachel McAdams in her prime. What year did this come out?
No idea.
I want to say 2005 or 2006.
I would say probably closer to 4 or 5.
Good times. I think this was like in her heyday. I want to say.
Because The Notebook, she was a little bit older in The Notebook.
And
The Notebook came out
Ryan
in high school,
Gosling too.
Ryan Gosling, yeah.
I remember being forced to watch that, and just the one thing my takeaway from that movie is him going, "What do you want me to do?" and he starts slapping himself.
Another movie I've not completely seen.
You know, it's okay. It's okay. It's gonna tug on your heartstrings, and then you poop your pants afterwards with emotion. But we're not talking about The Notebook today, nor Rachel McAdams. But you, sir, are a correctional officer and a Mexican, as you alluded to earlier.
Yes.
How do you do both?
It's what someone called the impossible task, but I get it done.
Impossible.
Yeah.
I'm working on it. Bro.
Maybe that hint of Caucasian is what gets me through.
I want to talk to you about your profession, sir.
All right.
I'm intrigued, and so intrigued that I wrote down some questions. And I'm prepared to ask you them.
It's pretty boring, but...
Boring?
Let's do it.
Let's spice it up. This is theater of the mind.
All right.
Wow.
The first question, Senor Contreras. Twin. Hamalo?
Identical twin, yes.
Identical. I can't tell you guys apart.
Me neither.
Kinda. A little bit. Do you ever feel like you guys switch lives? Like you could just completely do the old switcheroo and nobody be the wiser?
No,
Except for Narita, possibly.
I've fooled Narita a couple times.
Really?
She says we sound identical on the phone, so I've let him answer the phone a couple times.
Yeah.
And there was one time where she was going to come over, so I told Jordan to lay down in the bed facing the opposite direction.
Right.
So she comes straight to the house, and thinks I'm in bed, and she, lays down next, and then Jordan turns around and she kind of freaked out a little bit.
That's pretty fun. You remember when Bam did the old switcheroo? They had Preston Lacey, and they switched out Phil as dad, and he started grunting
they put
next
a fake
to April.
beard on him too.
Yeah, fake hair, everything. Phil was a hairy beast.
Yeah.
But lest we digress any further, correctional officer, and what's a day in the life of was it Solano County Corrections?
Solano County Sheriff's Office.
Now, just ooze your enthusiasm all over the microphone. I need to wipe it off later.
Day in the life. I'm on day shift, so I start at 7 o'clock sharp.
How sharp?
Actually, 6:55 is when I clock in.
Ooh, that's pretty sharp.
It's pretty routine stuff. You gotta do a head count. You gotta make sure all the bodies are there and they're actually breathing.
Heads are on the bodies.
Yep.
How many do you gotta look after?
It varies, but right now it's about probably about 70 to about 70.
And how many guards are in charge of them?
Just me.
Just you?
Just me.
1 on 70.
1 on 70.
It's
not 1 on 70.
You can take them.
It's not 1 on 70 at one time. At the most, there's about 10 to 12 inmates out in one section at a time. I take care of 4 different sections with about 18 inmates each.
So you wake them up, you pepper spray them, you count their heads. What happens next? Do they get playtime? Is there coloring?
Yeah, it's what you would call playtime. We call it rec.
Rec.
They are entitled to at least 3 hours out of their cell a week.
So the rest of their day, they're just sitting there, getting more angry. Possibly.
It depends on what.
Rehabilitating.
It depends on the classification. So, like a minimum inmate will get 4 hours a day out, 7 days a week. Medium will get 3 hours a day. Max gets 1 hour a day.
What would constitute a max? How naughty do you have to be?
I'm just kidding. 2 hours a day for max. It depends really on their charges and their history. So if they cause too much problems with other inmates or with the officers, then they go to max.
Ugh. In case they're especially rebellious.
Yes, the special and a lot of the gangs, if they're active gang members, then they have to go to max.
You got a lot of gangs around these parts in Yellow and Solano counties. Is there some pretty shisty and beehive-like activity?
Yeah, a lot of norteños, a lot of serranos.
Who's winning? Sorry, your affiliations don't allow you to specify.
It's hard to tell sometimes.
You're wearing a blue tank top and you got a blue hydro flask.
You're catching on.
Yes, sir.
The norteños seem to get along better with everyone. They program
other gangs and other or just to go with the flow, more so to speak.
Yeah, they're more. It's almost they're more institutionalized. Like they know how it is.
Right.
They know what they're supposed to do. The serranos, they like to make a lot of pruno.
What's pruno?
Pruno is jail-made alcohol.
Oh, have you had some?
No. If I might make my own someday, but I'm not gonna try theirs. It's pretty much just rotten oranges. They throw some bread in, some sugar, some jellies. And just let it sit for a couple of days, and it turns into alcohol.
That's what the serranos are all about. They're pruno.
Yeah, it really is.
Do they sell it for cigarettes or exchange it for sexual favors?
Cigarettes have been outlawed in the jails for some time now.
What about vapes?
No vapes.
Is there jail-made vapes where they kind of...
No tobacco allowed. Every now and then you catch them with some marijuana.
Some contraband?
Contraband, yeah. But it's not too common.
I love that word.
It's really hard for them to light it because they don't really have access to outlets or anything. So
they have like magnifying glasses and angle it in the sun from their jail window.
They don't really get that much sun from their window either.
Oh, that's good.
There's a little bit of sun, but
That'll
not
make
much.
them better people.
Yeah.
Not much sunlight. Lordy. All right, so you count them. There's rec time. There's a lunchtime.
Lunchtime, yeah. Lunch is...
I'm assuming there's lunchtime.
Lunch is probably the most difficult part of the job because a lot of inmates are on special diets. If they're like, if they're diabetic, then they're on a special diet. Or if they have high blood pressure, they're on a special diet.
Are there any, what's the allergy? The bread allergy.
Gluten.
Are there any gluten-free inmates?
There's gluten, no soy, no fish, no nuts, any diet you can.
Aren't they served like empty clamshells or something and tell them to be happy with it?
It's funny because there's absolutely no seafood in the jail.
No
at all,
seafood.
like ever, like zero. And pork, never any pork.
But they always get fed.
Yeah, they their basic meal is for breakfast they get like a cup of cereal, a little carton of milk, maybe a slice of bologna.
Do you think it'd be wise to serve them this meager diet to avoid them becoming these yoked out maniacs covered in tattoos that we see in the media? Like just give them like a slice of string cheese. Possibly give it to a cell full of about 20 dudes and make them all shred one piece.
They pretty much
watch them
get
dwindle
like,
away.
just enough to, right, really it's just enough to kind
Really?
of keep them alive. And they can order food off of commissary also, which is the cup of noodles.
Can they get funds transferred to them from the outside so they can order these things?
Yeah.
Oh, so
there's one of my mod workers, he has like $5,000 on his
Jesus.
books right now. Where they get the money from, who knows? But yeah, there's some have a lot of money, some don't have any money, and the food that they can order is very overly priced. Like
naturally.
a top ramen you get at the store is like what 25-50 cents. They
Right.
gotta pay like $1.50 or something.
$1. Those are some I thought we got screwed from the outside, man. It's
No,
California
it's,
gets you from the inside of the belly of the beast.
Yeah, and the food is so bad that we serve that they're like have to order this food from commissary, which is overpriced. So it's like a
All by design.
it is.
So, have you tried this food, this chow?
If it's packaged, I'll try it because it's no different from getting it from the store. They get served chips every now and then, so I'll steal some chips.
Any Sun chips? What kind of chips?
No, they're usually Lay's.
Oh,
just
God.
original potato chips. I've tried the breakfast bars one time. Not that bad.
So you're saying don't go to jail.
Yeah, don't. If you really like, if food is very important to you, do not go to
Guy
jail.
Fieri would toilet. First of all, he'd be a pincushion, but I feel like he just would not survive. He'd try to make something out of it, putting dirt and.
They're pretty creative with
cigarettes.
the food that they get. They make some good spreads.
I was gonna. There's a question later on.
Okay.
So foreshadowing.
All
We're
right.
saying the story industry, I guess. After lunch, they just stare at the wall until it's time to go to bed. You give them beatings regularly.
Again,
Trick
only
them,
if they
prank
deserve
time.
it. Only if they deserve it. Pretty much the spot that I've been working consistently, I do 2 separate unlocks of an hour and a half each. So really by 10:45, 11 o'clock, I'm completely done.
So when you say an unlock, I think of owners letting out their dog to take a piss. Is that just a
No, that's-
dumbed down version of what's going on?
That's their rec time, so they can come out of their cells, they can make their phone calls, take the showers, go to the yard if it's their yard day.
Are the showers as dangerous as the movies lead us to believe?
I will tell you, the shower never loses a fight.
Really?
Yes.
And you have to go in and handle naked men.
That's only happened. It wasn't in the shower, but he was naked when I had to handle
Do you
him.
have to get naked before you attack them?
No, that's not one of our requirements. Not recommended either, but
Not necessarily discouraged either, though. Level playing
no, I mean it hasn't happened yet.
As long as you keep your utility belt on.
yes, as long as you're armed, I guess
That's
it's
it.
fine.
And your socks.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, and then you go home.
If I'm lucky, yeah. If I we get a lot of mandatory overtime. So,
Mandatory. It's like, oh yeah, you had this dinner to
yeah.
go to.
No, that's happened many times. We one last year there was a spaghetti feed that I bought tickets to, and me, Narita, and another.
Narita is who to the
Narita is
uninitiated?
my great wife, who I don't know how she puts up with me,
Me neither.
but she's it's been almost a year that we've been married, and she's still here. So
Oh my God.
something's going. Okay.
There's some. I don't know.
Yeah.
There's some trick. We got a waterboard her later, like you do the inmates,
Yes.
just to find out what's going on.
Yeah.
What are you really here for, Narita? The money.
The money.
Oh God. Have you guys got a life insurance policy yet on your ass?
The county gives a life insurance
Well,
policy.
then there you
It's
go.
a,
She's just
it's
counting
a
down the days.
measly $50,000, so it won't go
Measly.
very far. I
That's
guess.
about what 2 months rent here in Winters, California.
Probably.
Get you a nice box in San Francisco.
Yeah.
Very good. Okay, so that's a day, and if there's no mandatory overtime, that's what, like a 12-hour day.
Let me explain that
Please.
mandatory overtime. So
Please.
there's a certain amount of positions that have to be filled in the jail, no matter what. So if someone calls in sick, that means they're short-staffed, so someone has to stay from the previous shift.
Right.
And it's all by a seniority list, so bottom of the totem pole gets overtime first, mandatory overtime.
Where are you on this totem pole? It's metaphorical.
I am currently number 154 out of about 250.
So you're getting up there.
Yeah,
you're growing.
In 5 years, I've gotten a lot of seniority, so that's.
Do you have any like
that's
extra
nice.
little patches or badges you get, like ranking?
We can put stars on our sleeves. It's
That's
like
fun.
one for every 5 years, but it's not.
Just make a brass, melt your stars into brass knuckles.
Well, they're
let
like
your seniority
they're
beat
like
some sense into these inmates.
Cloth stars, not like actual like metal pins.
Oh,
or anything like that.
Well, maybe that could be a thing.
Yeah, maybe I'll start it. I'll try to buy
In years to come, I'm sure there's gonna be reality TV where they just let the inmates out, and then the nation's greatest prison guards handle the riot by any means necessary.
Yeah, hey, that sounds pretty good to me.
That'd be pretty good.
But yeah,
wages.
There was one time last year we had a spaghetti feed to go to, and then I got.
Oh yeah,
to
we were
work.
talking. You tell a story.
And all of a sudden, I get the phone call, and hey, you just got mandatory for overtime. I was like, all right. So when you get mandatory for overtime, it's almost always for another 8 hours. So it'd be 16-hour day of work.
Jeez. So what a kick in the nuts that is. And they give you no heads up, or do they try to give you some heads up before they just deflate your
It
happiness?
depends who's sending out the list, but they'll give you a list like in the morning, and you'll see like who's number 1, 2, the whole list. But there's some days where like they send the list out and they say, hey, there's 8 openings, and you're number 3 or 4 or whatever. So you're like, yeah, I'm gonna stay.
That sucks. And there's no way out of it. You will work no matter how bad of a day it's been.
The only way out of it is if someone will volunteer to work it for you, or if you can find someone on the later shift to come in early for you. So I would stay until 7 o'clock. That person would come in at 7 o'clock and do the rest of the shift plus their shift.
So is there like time and a half? Overtime's got to be pretty spicy.
Yeah, we get
16 hours.
Yeah, anything over our 8 hours is overtime. So that's kind of nice. I think the most overtime I've had in like 1 week, I did a 16-hour shift, a 12-hour shift, and then a 16-hour shift. And then 2 8-hour shifts.
Jesus Christ. Those by the time you get to the 8 hours, it's like, this is nothing. This is half a day to me.
Yeah, I was on graveyard for my first 2 years, and Narita pretty much never saw me because I was always at work or always sleeping.
Does she have like a picture of you that she put on the side of the bed?
I like to think so.
Or those boyfriend pillows, it's just the arm?
Yeah.
Did she get one of those?
Or maybe she made like a doll or
like
something.
A real hairy arm.
Yes.
Really hairy doll. Or she just got a dog.
No, she hates pets, but...
What?
Oh, did I just throw that out there?
Wow.
Yeah. She kicks my cat every morning when she leaves to
I bet
work.
she's eaten some neighborhood cats too.
I mean, Indians are vegetarian, maybe sacrificed, but...
To the gods.
Yes.
Which god do you worship, Narita?
500 of them.
All of them. How many gods are there in the in Indian culture and religion? A lot. There are a lot. I got it on good authority. I like the Greek gods. Who would win in a battle royale?
Well, I don't know if you've ever seen the show American Gods.
Nay.
It's on Stars, I think. It's pretty good. It's about the old gods and the new gods. So
I like that.
The old gods would be like, the Greek gods and the Hindu gods. And they have Shiva on there.
She stars in Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom.
Well, I wouldn't say a star, but
that's
mentioned.
Kali Ma.
Kali Ma.
Kali Ma. Excuse my I misspoke.
It's okay.
My sincere
Narita might be offended, but I'm
yeah, it's
She's
2019. Everybody's offended.
That's true.
She happens to be. You guys are such a great ethnic cocktail. Mexican on one side, Indian on the other.
We got lots of compliments at our wedding about the fusion with the mariachi coming in, and
the food was amazing.
Food,
naan bread, the
clay oven,
beef. Oh my god.
Yeah, it was good.
That was a time.
I don't really remember the food too much, to be honest, because I barely ate. But
Narita, I can honestly say I've never seen a wedding dress such as yours before. Just all like a princess, and this caballero over here whisks you away.
It was a battle.
Battle
for me to be dressed in a cowboy hat, but
Why?
I obviously won it. I guess maybe she didn't think it wasn't as classy or something like that.
This is Mexico. Hey, of course Amy Poehler's in this movie too. She's
she's the what's her name's mom.
Yeah. Oh, the
Back to Me
Rachel
girls.
McAdams.
Yeah.
Yes. So anyway, yeah, great wedding, dancing.
It was
some great Contreras.
It was actually pretty tame, from what I hear from the other, like a traditional Indian wedding. Like,
well,
you go pretty crazy.
You gotta keep it under control. I'm gonna say both cultures could freaking party, dude.
Yeah.
We
had an open bar. Some people
Took advantage of that.
They didn't get kicked out, but they had to leave.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What a very nice way. You're not kicked out. You just can't stay here.
It was on their own free will. They're like,
You can walk out into I-80.
Yeah.
You can get right home. All right, moving on. Now that we've successfully answered the first question.
Man, that was one of the first.
That was one of the first. What's the hell is that word what's the stickiest situation you've been in? Have you had any scuffles or any kind of like, damn, that was some shit that I just went through on the job?
So one crazy one that I didn't experience firsthand, I walked into, like, it had happened right before shift change, is inmate cut his cellmate's throat open.
That's not good, is it?
Yeah, there was a lot of blood.
How much blood?
A lot of blood. Like, when I got there, like, the inmate they already took him to the hospital and all that stuff, but there was still blood on the floor.
He lived?
Yeah, he survived.
This, like,
it was
just
it was a slice. Was it like a
meant to kill, right?
I would assume so, but
usually, I guess if you slice at somebody's throat, you're
yeah.
KD
One of the
ratio.
officers that was there said, like, if every time he would look up, like, the blood would just start gushing out of his neck.
I don't think I'd be able to.
Yeah, I didn't experience it firsthand, but it's probably one of the craziest things that's happened.
What happened to the cutter?
He was already there for a murder. He's charged with murder, so he was going through his trial, and then they got him for another attempted. So obviously he tried to kill him, and he ended up going to, I think he got, like, life in prison or something.
There you go, somewhere in San Quentin.
Who knows?
San Quentin's that's like a federal prison.
A state prison.
State prison. What's the naughtiest prison you could possibly go to? Like the most.
So things are changing
shit.
a lot, where everyone's like, San Quentin, Pelican Bay, but believe it or not, Vacaville State Prison.
Mental, is that like
no?
mental facility
They're shipping a lot of the gang leaders here.
4K.
Because so many inmates, that were gang members, they're dropping out, and if you're a dropout gang member, you can't be around the active gang members because they'll kill you. So there's starting to be more of them than there are active gang members.
So rehabilitation does work.
Yeah, sure.
I mean, sure, you don't want to like make that.
It's really funny because the gang members that dropped out of their gangs ended up forming other gangs.
MS-12
to protect themselves from the other gang, the active gang. God. So they're still in gangs, but they're just not the gang they used to be.
I bet those they're just like a skid mark compared of the underpants of the gang, the original gang.
Some of them, yeah. There's some pretty hardcore dropout gangs.
Dropouts.
They call them dropouts, yeah.
But it's just for protect. Do they ever get like wiped out entirely? Like the big gang says, you know what?
No, because they stay
alive.
The prisons and jails do a pretty good job at keeping everyone away from each other. That's not supposed to be together.
What was, I guess, the first-hand experience you've been in that was a little rough? Where you're like, damn, that was
so
loco, as Narita would say.
I haven't had to, like, fight anyone really yet, but there was an incident where this guy was in the suicide cell, and it's like a rubber...
was it the dude that just killed himself, or is that you?
No, not Epstein.
Epstein? That wasn't at your job.
Just get this clear, I'm not involved.
Oh, okay, all right. You hear that, Hillary? I know
Yes.
they're listening. Both of our FBI agents.
So they're not allowed to have any clothes because they could kill themselves with their clothes. So they have a smock, like a robe.
Oh, I thought you just have a couple, you have like a row of guards linked arms on the outside of the bars, just staring at a naked guy.
No. So
in
he
the
has
fetal
he has
position.
a smock on, and it's like you can't tear it, and it's Velcro, so you can't tie it and anything like that. And he was gonna get transported to our downtown facility. And so I'm giving him directions through the window. Turn around, put your hands on your head,
touch your toes.
If you're cool, be cool, and I'll get you an extra sandwich because usually that's a pretty good.
You have that sway. You have that push to wheel and deal sandwiches and
sure,
chips. What about
for
carrot
sure.
sticks?
Carrot sticks. Yeah, if there's any, but
pudding packs?
Sandwiches. No pudding.
No pudding. They don't get no pudding.
No pudding.
This is jail.
Yeah.
This is fucking jail we're talking about here.
So he was fine. I opened the door, and they're called belly chains. They're just like chains that go around their waist, and they have cuffs attached to them.
Makes sense.
So as soon as I take a step inside the cell, he turns around and he says something like, "Let's do this," or some weird comment like that, and rips his smock off, so he's completely naked. He starts charging at me.
So you have is that the first time you had a naked guy charge you with aggressive intention?
Yes. So my first instinct, I dropped the chains and I punched him in the face and knocked him out.
So clearly this is, not only is it self-defense, you're doing, what's it called? Your job.
Yeah.
Keeping the peace.
Yeah.
But how'd it feel just, having said that, how'd it feel just,
I don't think
the Contreras Cinco right across the face?
Yeah, it doesn't feel good. I mean, it's not natural for you to just punch someone in the face.
Well, especially, I don't know if whoever's listening knows you personally, but I do. I don't think I've ever seen you flustered or aggravated or showing any emotion that's like not cool, calm, and collective, and to have pushed you to the point to where you have to knock somebody the F out. Yeah. So you're 1 for 1 with the lifetime punch.
Yeah, so far.
There you go. It's fantastic.
So yeah, he fell to the ground, and that was it. We didn't like start beating him. We just cuffed him up.
The video camera in the corner cut out while you and the boys.
Well, there's no cameras in the
him.
cell, so whatever happens.
Naturally. But at least you proved to yourself that you're not going to cower. Like you stepped up in he could have bit you. There could have been any. He said, "Let's do this naked." Was he aroused?
No, I don't think so.
Okay,
I didn't check.
Our memories sometimes fail us. Most likely was. He did say,
I mean, maybe there was that fear of rape in my mind. Like, this guy's coming at me right now.
You're not raping me.
Not today.
Not today, Satan. Very good. That is, I guess, that constitutes a sticky situation, a potentially sticky situation.
Yeah. There's just one more quick one, because this one's pretty gross. Is this guy? Yes. He was going to be seen by the doctor for like competency.
Gynecologist?
No, like a psych doctor.
Oh.
Psych doctor, and there are 2 doctors there.
Spell psychology for me before you go any further.
I'm just a CO.
I couldn't possibly tell you if you're right or wrong.
SY, no.
There's a P. It's like,
oh, is there?
PSY.
P. PSY. CHO. Psychology.
For some reason I was spelling psychic. I can't remember my own commands. Before, all right. Let's move past psychology. So, you had it though.
Yes.
OLOGY.
So the guy, he has some obvious mental health issues. He's very slow to respond to things, and he comes out, and we just have him sit right outside his cell. There's a table in the day room, and the nurse is like trying to take his blood pressure, and she goes for one arm, and he goes no, and then puts out his other arm, says I'll do this arm. So, just kind of going with it. He's not doing anything bad yet. And then he starts getting mad at her, like, don't touch me. So me and my partner grab him, and we're just trying to escort him to the cell. We're just, we're trying. We don't want to fight.
No
this
trouble,
guy,
like let's.
Because he smells bad. It's just bad. And right before we get to the cell, he starts turning, and he tries to throw a punch at my partner. So
what? Just did anything set him off, or this is just caught him at the wrong time of the day?
He just didn't want to be touched. I guess something. I don't know. Something was up with him that he didn't want to be touched. And we just want to push him in the cell, shut the door. That'd be the end of it. He just resisted. So we're in the cell, and we're trying to get him under control and to stop resisting, and we're having to like lay him on his bed, and we got we're just all over him. And then by the time we were done with everything, like my whole uniform smelled like urine.
What was wrong with this dude? Like
he was just out there.
He's just a stinky bum.
So yeah, and I didn't have a spare uniform to put on, so I had to spend the rest of my 4 hours at work just. I used the Lysol wipes and just wiped.
No disrespect to the homeless. Like when you walk by, and there's like levels of homelessness, I should say. As awful as that sounds, but when you could just smell, you could smell reek. Not just them, but say you step into like an elevator and you're next to somebody, you could just smell the nicotine.
Yeah,
just coming out of their pores. It's vile. It's disgusting.
And the few times I've worked in receiving where they bring people from the streets into the technical difficulties.
Technical. Something happened.
Oh God.
Error while trying to synchronize.
Let's start over.
No, we're good.
Shame.
But we're saying, so what's the difference? I called you a guard, and you punched somebody for the second time in your life. Now that we're back.
Yeah.
So what is this lesson that you want everybody to know? You're not a guard.
I'm not a guard.
No.
You know, like, first of all, like, it kind of diminishes the, you know, our title, you know, guard. Guard, you think security guard.
Yes.
We're like one step above of a security guard.
You're not at the mall.
Not bashing security guards or anything.
Nay.
But, yeah, and guards, from what one of my coworkers said, guards guard valuable things, you know, like a jewelry store or something like that. And
or a treasure.
Or treasure, yeah.
Guardians.
We don't work with either of that, so.
So you deal with human trash.
Some,
say. Not all. Some are probably innocent. I mean, they're all innocent. Sorry.
Allegedly.
Allegedly. But you're working at a human landfill. Yes. We decided.
Yeah.
All due respect to the inmates. All due disrespect, I should say. Fuck you guys. And gals, you know what? It's 2019. I'll do equal rights. There's some. Doesn't matter if you're man, woman, anywhere in between. You're a criminal. You're a criminal. I don't care what gender you identify with. You're scum.
There are some foul women in jail.
Have you guarded women as well? Have you been transferred to any like Orange is the New Black type situations? All the fun that they're having in jail.
As a male, I can't directly supervise female inmates. I can work the tower and stuff like that, but I can't.
With a sniper?
No, the tower, like at the downtown jail, it controls the doors and the entrances, exits, visits, and stuff like that. But I can't like.
I am curious. Yeah. Does a guard make more or less at working as a correctional officer at a women's facility? And do they require the same? I'm sure they get the same treatment, or like how does it flow differently?
So we don't have separate facilities for men and women.
I mean, women get their own show.
They're in their same. It's in the same facility, but just different wing, I guess you would say, of the jail.
So they don't get playtime together.
No,
that'd be bad.
Yes, that's yeah.
What's like the worst you've heard from the women's side of the facility? I'm sure they get down. Like just some of the shows I've seen of I think Netflix had something out where it just shows. There's one in Sacramento they focused on. You just yell out gang names and they get rowdy just as much. It's possibly more so than the guys.
It's mostly like the mental health females that are, you know, not showering and stuff like that. Start to smell really bad and gets a bit fishy. That it does. Yeah.
And yeah. How fishy was that guy smelling?
I don't remember any smells. Maybe I blacked out. I don't know.
Possibly. Now, are there any say male inmates that identify as women or possibly vice versa and they demand to be switched to the other side because you're keeping them in a place that doesn't fit their identity? All that has PC culture and gender appropriation seeped into the penal system.
We actually had an inmate who I believe had a sex change in the state prison.
And the state pays for it?
Yes.
No.
As far as I know, yes.
Wow.
I'm not 100% sure, but
I mean, I believe it.
Especially in California.
Come on, it's California.
So...
Not saying that's a bad thing.
It was a male to female transition, we'll call it. And it had the surgery and everything. So
no testosterone going through?
We had to provide, what were they called? Vaginal dilators.
Vaginal dilators?
Yes.
What does that mean?
If she didn't use them, then it would just close up. And
oh, no. It would just be a fleshy patch.
I guess so. I don't know.
That is troubling. I've always said this. To those who get that surgery, it takes balls to get them removed.
Yeah.
Real balls.
Yeah. But she ended up making it to general population with the females. So
no fuss, no bus. Well, I mean... That surgery is pretty finale. I mean, I'm not bagging on anybody for trying to pursue who they really are, but it's just you can't have, say, a group of 15 or 20 male to females that still have such muscle mass and everything. It's like that kid that was kicking everybody's ass in wrestling in Texas.
Yeah.
Such a gray area.
It was a male, right?
A male that went to the
female,
switched to female, and just dominated. Dominated.
Well, there's a MMA fighter too.
Oh God,
I forget what her name horrifying. Is, but yeah.
So when it comes down to it, my cousin, for example, it's either one or the other, and I guess that sounds really. I'll edit this if I say anything really stupid. But my cousin Curly is a radiologist. She does X-rays and everything, and she goes up to this male to female or vice versa and asks them, what you identify with. We need to know, just because the x-rays, there's radiation coming through. If you're pregnant, we need to know, just what does science say you are? Regardless of how you feel any way you want, but what does science peg you as? Because if there's radiation going into you and you have a fetus, but you're too stubborn to say, okay, I was born this way, or what Lady Gaga says it, you were born this way. So it's all good. Just, but when it comes to radiation, I guess,
yeah, it's pretty important.
That's what it is. But it's again, a sticky situation. Hopefully we can all just get along soon and see things for what they are.
Yeah, when they change the laws about the bathrooms in government buildings.
So what are the bathrooms now?
So if it's a single person bathroom, there can't be a male bathroom, a female. It has to be.
Oh, it's not like if you have like a relationship or something, you have to be single.
No.
You get what I did there? Yeah.
You might want to edit that one out.
That's fun. Yeah, maybe.
But so in the jail for the staff, there was a male and a female bathroom. Law changed, so they just took the signs down. But
that makes sense.
But everyone still kept it because the girls don't want to share bathrooms with the guys.
Well,
so they're still male. You know, the signs are not. Everyone's still using.
If it's just for employees, I feel like there's enough respect to where you wouldn't go in and sneak in and look at some lady going pee or using the restroom. There's always creepers out there. There's always going to be creepers that will sneak in and be like, oh, I was just using the restroom. I just happened to look in and see if that stall was open. Baloney. Yeah. Creepers. When I went to Jusco's today for a little sushi, a little lunch before.
I've been craving sushi so bad.
It's good. It's good. So I just had like a couple of rolls and I just got out of there. Had to watch a terrible movie for 2.5 hours. Couple rolls. I was I was speedy.
If I don't leave there wanting to die, it wasn't worth it.
Usually it's a good time, but I had to stay awake.
That's true.
Through the movie. Yeah. What was I saying? Jusco's. Bathrooms. Oh, so they share a bathroom with G Street Wonder Bar.
Yes.
And I go to the men's room, and up top there's a guy, and then there's a male sign, but then there's a robot, and it has just a million different logos. So why not? I would like to see the day where humans could figure out how to use the restroom in relative peace.
Yeah.
Men, women, everything in between. Just.
I went to this club in Sacramento, and I want to say it was Faces, which is a popular gay bar, I guess you would say. It might not have been that one, I don't know. But I go into the bathroom and then like there's girls in there. I'm like, what?
Get out of here.
So I leave because I was just like, I'm not gonna use the restroom in front of all these girls. And then I think I got.
Was there a trough or were there urinal sections?
It was.
A trough is usually you got to be pretty comfortable with yourself.
I think it was urinals.
Forward, sir.
I'm not. I don't. It was quite a while. It was a long time ago. But pretty much, I think I got Narita to like stand outside the door while I used the bathroom.
Stand guard. You needed some muscle.
Yeah, I didn't want. It's just really awkward.
You know, it would be really awkward. This just passed through my head. Like a trough is, that's a man's tool, right? I suppose. To just pee and then like cross streams with the dude next to you, just to perhaps assert dominance.
You might get hit.
Yeah. Right. Well, before I get punched, I would turn completely and pee all over the person.
Well, you might get.
This is related, not really, but in terms of spraying somebody, we'll get back to the next question soon enough. I was at the Woodland Fair one time, and people are drunk. Not I. I was just going to see the Demolition Derby and get out of there, but I'm walking through the games, and this dude's tall boy in hand, and he's got the squirt gun, squirting it into, about ready to squirt into that clown's mouth so the balloon goes up over his head and pops. Right. One of those games. And the carny's like, all right, ready, set, go. And the guy just turns and starts squirting the carny, just spraying the shit out of him. And he didn't stop. It took about 20 seconds for the balloon to pop, and the guy just kept squirting him, and they just set it down and left. But
that's so messed up.
That is quite mean. I mean, why are you squirting a guy doing his job? But anyways, moving on. Before we digress yet again, there's other questions, Justin. All right. There's other questions. People in prison. So people are always in the prison cycle. I was thinking about it. They're in the prison cycle even though they might be free at the moment. But the cycle includes them getting spit out and then pumped right back in. What do we do to possibly halt the cycle, or is it just so ingrained in who they are as a person after a few times? Because prison culture it's a culture unto itself, how you survive, the social construct. How do we stop this cycle from just running all these people over? Keeping them tumbling like a hamster wheel it is.
That's like the impossible question to answer.
Answer the impossible question with an impossible answer.
So we have a lot of programs at our jail, which for like drug counseling and alcoholism. We have forklift driving certification now.
Really?
So
give them a mecha suit so they could skewer people?
Yeah, give them a chance to have a job, I guess, when they get out of jail.
That's fun.
I would say the majority of them that keep coming back, it's because they don't want to stop doing whatever they're doing.
They're just used to it. That's their lifestyle.
Yeah.
So are some people just in there, a lot of times they're alcoholics or have a drug problem and they just happen to get upset and they just get caught? They're just angrier than your average person and it just gets them in trouble?
California is so lenient on criminals that it's really hard to get arrested and stay in jail now.
Is it because it's so overcrowded already and it's just an absolute shit show?
Overcrowded and whatnot. But so it takes a lot to stay in jail. So like you gotta get arrested for.
But if you're white, you can do whatever you want and get away with murder. I've killed 3 people since I've been here. I'm about to edit that out.
Yeah, I don't.
The cycle. What do we do to it? How do we stop it?
Man, there is no stopping it because people are always going to be committing crimes, especially because of drugs.
Yeah.
So.
Well, it's part of the overall system of our country, right? Yeah. There's money to be made with private prisons, getting them out there.
I don't think the private prison thing is as big as people make it out.
I've only seen movies about it.
Yeah, as far as I know, there's none in California, but I don't know how it even works. So.
Well, I've seen Orange is the New Black, and I know there's private prisons and budget cuts and whatnot. Yeah.
I think Narita got tired of listening to this because she just left.
She bounced without even saying goodbye.
I know, she just kind of mouthed something to me.
Maybe she was upset that she's not part of this riveting conversation.
No, she didn't want to.
I'm not gonna lie, I'm learning quite a bit.
We'll find out.
If you're in trouble later.
I know, right?
But the cycle, it sucks that this cycle just sucks up so many people and keeps them in there forever. They might even have kids, families.
Yeah, in my opinion, that's just something you got to think about before you start either killing people or robbing people.
Joining a gang. Well, a lot of times these guys are born dirt poor and the gang is the only reprieve they have from their shitty life.
Yeah, it's that, I guess that...
Isn't that a heartfelt... Is that a good enough excuse?
That, they get, closeness. They have great bonds with people and...
La familia.
But at a certain point, you're like, whoa, I gotta rob this elderly couple just to be in the gang. I don't get how that makes sense.
What's the alcohol called again?
Pruno.
Is the Pruno worth the squeeze? Worth the squeeze?
No,
it's not worth the squeeze.
You always get in trouble for the Pruno. But I mean, imagine the food's so bad in jail.
Right.
So you have to buy food. But you're going to make Pruno, get caught with the Pruno, then you get your food ordering privilege taken away for a week. So now you're not going to eat regular. That's what they think. To them, it's worth making the Pruno than it is to eat better food.
Is it like they are taking the risk because it's some vestige of freedom, or is it like an FU to the man? I'm in here, but I'm going to do what I want regardless of the consequences.
I think maybe it's because they just want to get drunk. Maybe it's easier to be in jail drunk than it's not.
I would,
but in the long term, it's not because that stuff. There's cases of people go blind from drinking the Pruno.
It's that good, huh?
Because the ethanol in the alcohol or something.
You go blind.
Methanol.
If you're in jail, what is there to see anyway besides naked guys saying "Let's go," throwing a smock at you?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So to answer that question, there's no way to stop people.
So I guess that answers my next question of, does the rehabilitation system work?
It can only work if the person wants it to work.
And that's kind of a human universal truth for all humans, right? There could be something wrong with them in one way or another. They just don't fit into the system, and if they want to get better, they will. And they'll be a great role model. They'll be a great public speaker. But if not, they just gonna keep tumbling.
I would say the majority of the inmates that take advantage of the programs that we have, whether it be getting your GED if they don't have it, or drug counseling, all that stuff, is because either one, they get more time out of their cell because they do group therapy and whatnot,
and that's your reward,
or it looks good to the judge that you're doing this, so you're gonna spend less time in jail. But there's just so many cases of guy goes through the program, completes it, gets out of jail, gets arrested 2 weeks later, back in jail, back into the program.
Do you think jail for these people, they have to? There's got to be a desire to go back to jail because it's kind of hard existing out in the world to get a job, pay bills, do this and that. And I feel like humans have been, especially in the United States, have a severe case of comfortability and complacency. And jail is, you know what? I get this life. I can live this life. Let's just keep doing it because God help me if I challenge myself and try to get a real job and survive on the outside. Do you think they're just comfortable with that lifestyle, even though it's a little dangerous?
My mod worker, he, I forget what his charges are, but he's made it pretty clear that he does not want to come back to jail. Like, he's like, I'm trying my best to like.
Talks cheap, big dog.
Yeah, you know that's true with everyone because everyone says I'm not coming back, and then they get arrested. There's times where the guy gets arrested a couple hours later, and he's back in.
Hours?
Yeah, because there was one time this guy gets released, and straight from getting released, he goes and tries to rob or steal some merchandise, I think from the mall or something like that. Within hours of getting released, bam, gets thrown back in jail. So, so yeah, it just depends.
You can't make that shit up.
No, like it's
that's
crazy.
ridiculous.
So yeah, if they really want it to work, it can work because there's a lot of resources available to them, both inside the jail with the programs, and those same programs will help you find housing on the outside, or they'll help you try to get a job and stuff like that.
All right, so the effort's there. The what can I say? The facilities are available to them. They have the opportunities are there for them to really turn themselves around. Yeah. But at the end of the day, it's up to them.
Yeah, and maybe all that sounds good because like, oh yeah, I'm gonna get it together when I'm out. And then once you're out, you're like, oh, I can just do whatever I want.
Well,
now.
it's like you got to go for it. The hard work starts on the outside.
Yeah.
But if they go back to square zero, if they don't try, then they can't fail. I guess.
Yeah.
They just go back to the jail. Yeah. It's a damn shame. Let me put my monocle back on so I could see the next question.
Chicken scratch there.
So it's pretty bad, isn't it? So you understand the social constructs of these hooligans, these inmates? Yeah. You ever call them, hey, inmate? Or do you say clown or scumbag? Payaso?
I don't say like, hey, inmate Johnson, come over here. You know, I just say the
kiss my shoes.
Right, yeah. Shine them. But
spit on
you know, I'll talk if I'm talking to an inmate, then I'll just say, yeah, this inmate did this. So
how do you address them?
How do I what?
How do you address them? Hey, by their last name, possibly.
Oh yeah. It's. I find it easier to remember their last name than it is their first name.
Gotcha.
And that's how we verify everything by last name.
And the first name basis could be a little dangerous, establishing that bond of trust. They might think they have. They can take advantage
you
over
never want to get too close. There's this article that I read when I first started called "Downing the Duck," and it's just how the inmates.
I'm gonna turn down the TV just a little bit, just in case.
You turn it off. So yeah, Downing the Duck is
sexual.
It's no. I mean maybe.
Sorry.
It's how inmates.
It's childish insights.
It's how the inmates can manipulate, and it starts out with just the smallest thing, like, hey, like, can I get an extra sandwich? Yeah, I get extra. So then, once you got that, okay, maybe I'm asking for a little bit more. Maybe get an extra sandwich, and you got a Snickers bar for lunch today? Like, can I have half of it? And, oh yeah, you can have half.
They're just seeing what they can get out of
you, and
it
just progresses until finally you're like bringing drugs in for them and stuff like that.
Have you seen that happen, or are there cases? I mean, clearly it's happening. So
cases, yeah. But not as far as I know. There's never been any stories of people getting caught bringing stuff in at the jails I work.
What makes these guys and gals these cerebral assassins, or do they just think they're hot shit because they're, I guess, a different breed of human? I don't mean that in the worst of way possible, but they're in jail and the jailers aren't. Like, do they just not give a fuck? Like, I'm gonna manipulate you. If you get wise to it, then whatever. I'll get the next.
A female officer walk by and they just, they try to talk smooth to them, and
so baby,
99.999% of the time the officer's like, yeah, like no chance.
I've heard horror stories of like human excrement mixes getting tossed at female correctional officers.
It's not just female correctional, but it's called gassing. Gassing. You gas someone
what's gassing?
Is whether it could be any liquid really is gassing, but it's mostly like urine mixed with feces.
Paradoxical. Gassing is a liquid.
And there's stories of like inmates that'll make.
Wait. What is it exactly again? You said it's feces mix.
It could be anything. It
Anything
could be
gassing.
like spoiled milk, but if you're throwing it at them, then
It's
called
disgusting.
gassing. Yeah.
Oh my god.
Yeah.
And then at that point, you look at the guy behind the glass and say, "Open up this door." Just the one. You go in there with 2 batons, and you just
dual wielding.
dual wield them. Beat the
as
bejesus
much
out of
as people would like to do that when they do get gassed, but we're pretty strict on what we can do to them. You obviously can't retaliate.
They're still humans at the end of the day.
You can only use reasonable force, and you can't justify opening the door to fight some guy if he's
to beat the shit out of gassing you.
Yeah, how do you justify that?
Have you ever been tempted? Have there been times where you're like, man, I wish I was your inmate partner so I could do things?
Yeah, I get pretty frustrated. It's mostly the younger guys because they think they're all tough and stuff like that.
Everyone's younger than you in there, huh?
Oh yeah, everyone's tough until they get called out, and when you call them out, then they most of the time they don't do anything.
You ever take out your baton and walk down the bars and rattle it like tick 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 tick?
Bars are kind of an old school
whistle?
thing. We don't have bars anymore at the jails.
What do you have?
Just doors.
Doors. Oh, that's right. Doors.
We have, at the new jail at Stanton, we have like the sliding doors.
Mm-hmm.
But at the other jails, there's like regular doors that open and close.
It's pretty sexy. Very 2019 of you. Doors, not bars. Why am I thinking bars?
No, the Stanton jail, everything's electronic. So we walk around with a Samsung tablet, and we can open doors, turn water on and off, turn lights on and off.
What if it gets hacked? That's the problem with technology. I was writing about cybersecurity for like a year. Dude, to get a prison hack, they can hack, I want to say Teslas probably. It's a matter of time.
Oh, yeah,
traveling infrastructure, power plants, what you name it, they can hack it. So
if it's electronic, it can get hacked. But
that's why I
don't know what the fail safes are for that.
I'd say just go back to the dungeon system with the old ball and chain.
But the problem with that is that like people lose stuff. Like people lose. Like if you need keys to open doors, like people will lose the keys.
So what? Just toss a handful of bread at them and like pick at it, you pigeon.
Yeah.
I don't know. You're in prison for a reason, and I'm not saying it should be some lawless, like anarchy building or anything like that, but yeah, I don't know. Maybe I need to go to prison for a day to see. Like, okay, maybe are they treated justly?
Next time we have tours, I'll make sure you.
Let me know. That'd be interesting.
But
I'll put on a mask.
They have so many rights. Like the inmates have like just tons of rights and it's just crazy. Like an inmate can.
How do you feel about that, dude? Too many rights? Just the rights?
It's frustrating at times because you want to do it one way, but then you get told, well, no, it has to be this way because of this Title 15 laws that we have.
What's Title 15? Inmate rights?
Title 15 is like the rights and guidelines that we have to go by. So like how much time they get out of the cell, how much time they have to eat, when they have to eat, and stuff like that.
I suppose that's important, not only to keep them in check, but to keep the guards in check. Like those in there's a in psychology class. I'm sorry to bring that word back up. There's that study,
Stanford prison experiment.
So I'm sure when you were being trained, you got to learn all about that, of like the role playing students as the guards went crazy and started abusing. Like I don't know why they didn't call that study earlier.
From what I heard is that it was like kind of debunked that it was.
Do you think it was fraudulent?
Yeah.
But
I'm not 100% sure. But no, but that's true. People, and it happens. Some people get a little bit of power and they take it above and beyond. Have
you seen any colleagues? You don't need to name names, but have you seen it in your experience of people perhaps abusing their power?
Not to that point, but it happens especially with newer people.
Yeah.
That, they think I run this.
Yeah.
But there's definitely a middle,
There's a certain amount of respect if you show them, and that will docile them, and they'll, okay, this guy's cool. He's not treating me like a piece of shit.
Right.
I'll just go with the flow. Or could they all like band together? You know what? This guy thinks he's hot shit. Let's just make his life a living hell.
I mean, it's happened to where this officer, he almost died. Like they almost threw him off the top tiers.
Jesus. So I was watching a show, and it was a new recruit, and he was kind of bad mouthing. He was not roughing up, but being Billy Badass. I'm the new sheriff in town, and some guys were playing poker, and I guess it was against the rules to play poker. Or they were doing something small, but it was against the rules. And the guy was like, "No, put it away." He's like, "Oh, come on, dog. Like it's just this. Like, do you let that slide in order to build a rapport, or do you got to be? In your opinion, do you
got to pick and choose your paddles?
Yeah.
You know, as long as they're not doing anything illegal, right? Then it's kind of up to you. So like,
I think it was something nitpicky he was bugging about.
I mean, you know, I don't know, if I'm searching an inmate cell and he has an extra towel, I'm not gonna write him up for
It's insane.
Like you know,
Extra towel.
And maybe, you know, if I say, hey, I'm not gonna write you up this time, then some other time he'll be like, oh, you know, he didn't write me up this time. I'm gonna go do this instead, or you know, stuff like that. And there's been instances where you know, officer is kind of fighting with the inmate, and another inmate realizes it and actually helps the officer.
Really?
Because, you know, maybe they have a good rapport, and they, you know,
There aren't. It's easy to overgeneralize every single inmate as this animal, this murder, like some piece of shit. Whereas some of them are probably in there just for weed, or maybe they just made a really bad mistake, but they're a good person. Not all. I just think especially me, I've been tainted by the media or movies that inmates are just these scumbags, or maybe they paint like The Longest Yard. Prison is a vacation. You get all this food. You get to play football. Yeah. It's so much fun. The guards are scumbags doing roids and killing people. Do you think the prison system is painted, especially with shows like Orange is the New Black, is it painted in a positive light, or do you think it has a negative impact on how people think about prisons? And
I think it's painted pretty negatively, because if it's on TV, then they're gonna show the extreme.
They gotta make it dramatic.
Like you see these shows like 60 Days In and stuff like that, where there's drugs everywhere and stuff like that. But, you know, how likely is it that there's that much drugs in the jail? Like, that's all they're showing you.
They show you
because the rest of it, there's really nothing going on.
The correctional officers are running drugs in, or they'll beat them, they'll make deals, or in Sons of Anarchy, they kill Opie. Spoiler alert, if you haven't seen that by now, go suck some toes and get your life straight.
If you haven't seen it by now. But yeah, like, you know, same thing with like police on the streets. You know, they always film the bad stuff, but there's like hundreds of thousands of interactions where nothing happens.
Bad stuff gets ratings, and that's why 99% of the time you see cops rough up this XYZ ethnicity, whatever. Yeah. And it's very unfortunate that happens. I was telling my buddy Kerry, he's SFPD, and I don't know, I love seeing the videos when they do come out of cops playing sports with the neighborhood kids. They'll burn them on a route, or I saw one where this kid dunked on like crossed him up and then dunked on him. It was the funniest thing I've ever seen. But it's just the community relations. They're there, and you got to have cops that are of the area, so they speak the same language of the people they're dealing with. It's like, I grew up on this street or whatever. I just feel like when you treat people like humans, and there's a certain amount of respect back and forth, we all can go along. The road's a little smoother. Yeah. Paved a little bit.
Our association, in other words, a union that we have for the correction officers, we do toy drives, backpack drives and stuff like that for the school in Fairfield.
Hell yeah.
So we try to reach out to the community as much as we can, especially since we're in the jail.
You ever have kids come in to get scared straight and just, if I was an inmate, I'd be barking at them. I'd just that'd be the funniest. That'd be the funnest thing ever, to just yell at these kids for 5 minutes.
And then we haven't had any scared straight. We've had like the criminal justice majors from Solano Community College come in, and some of them look like really scared. Like, oh my God, what's going on?
Imagine if they went to San Quentin or even Vacaville.
Yeah,
that is some stuff, and to get out of there. So another question. So you understand the social constructs, how things are run, the ins and outs.
Yes.
Could you survive in jail knowing what you do now? Could you survive in the jail that you...
If I had to go to jail, I would go ADSEP, which is called administrative separation, which means I'd be by myself always.
You can elect that?
Yeah. You can.
Oh, I would totally... Why wouldn't anybody do that?
You get less privileges, I guess. You only get 30 minutes out a day.
You don't get raped or anything. At least
you don't have to deal with anyone.
Yeah, right? I would just meditate.
It seems like a lot easier way to do your time.
So that's what you would opt for. You wouldn't go to general population.
And like, I'm so weird about using the bathroom, so I would, these cells are so small that like when you're on the toilet, you're like facing your cellmate.
Yeah.
Right. So that's just so awkward.
So he's probably just on the side of his cot, staring at you with a smile on his face while you're trying to crap out your sandwich.
So I'd rather just be by myself.
You know what? Since now that I know that's an option, I'm not as scared of jail. Yeah. But say that wasn't an option, could you survive?
Yeah.
Would you join a gang?
No.
Would you form your own gang?
No. Joining the gang is probably the worst thing you could do. There's so many.
Yeah, they follow you outside there.
There's so many rules for Norteños and the Serenos, really, but they have to be up by 7.
What?
They have to be awake by 7. At 7, it's funny, really funny.
Really?
Because at 7, 7:01, 7:02, you hear them, attention on the tier, it's time to get up. Yeah, they have this little saying that they...
The Norteños say that?
Yeah.
In Spanish?
In English and Spanish.
Oh, that's fun. They're including everybody.
So they got to get up. They have to do a certain amount of workout per day.
These are soldiers.
Oh, they are, for sure.
God.
And there's always one guy who would say he holds the keys in the mod. So he's in charge of all
the central cog that keeps it all turning.
He makes sure everything stays in check.
To what end are these? So every organization has a mission statement, has an end goal. What is this end goal for Norteños, Serenos, or gangs? Like, what's their purpose? Why do they exist? Is it to disrupt the system? Is it to rule the world? To be the only gang? Like, do they want peace eventually and some skewed
Their
way?
only goal is to make money by getting drugs into the jail.
They're just an illegal business.
Yeah, pretty much.
Make that feria.
Yeah, it's crazy.
It is, I would say.
And they know the laws and everything too. Like the higher ups, the regular soldiers, as you would call them. They don't really
the drones.
They're drones, right? But the higher ups, if at the state prison, there's 4 different bosses and they're at 4 different prisons.
Mm-hmm.
They'll make a fake lawsuit. They'll subpoena the other bosses, and they'll have to show up to court together. And that's where they have their meetings.
Do you think? So the system's aware that they're doing this, but they have no legal recourse to stop them from doing it.
You can't be like, no, you can't subpoena this guy. Well, I have a lawsuit going. So
Could your older brother Greg, currently in law school, do you think he'll be the wrench in their engine?
I don't know.
Or is he just going to make it worse and join them?
I think he's trying to stay clear of the criminal law.
You know what? I feel like it'd be a lot less stressful that way.
Yeah.
So you would survive in jail, you're saying?
I would think so. And like I said, like everything on TV makes jail seem like it's so hard, and it's everyone's getting raped all the time.
All the time. It's just
as far as I know, it's not happening that often. So as long as you,
well, that's good.
As long as you're clean and not crazy, and you get along with others, then you'll be fine.
So you don't need. So for whoever's listening that might be going to jail, would you say don't go up to the biggest guy and punch him in the face?
Definitely
or do
not.
No, mind your own business.
Yeah.
Just respect him.
Yeah.
That would be.
And don't share.
Don't share?
Don't.
What do you mean don't share?
Nothing's free in jail.
Of course. So if somebody says, "Hey, you want some cigarettes?"
Well, they don't have cigarettes anymore.
Or
but
you want some contraband?
Yeah, I mean anything. Like, hey, some extra soups. You want some?
Then you owe them.
I'd be like, no, all right, because then later, hey, I hooked you up with those soups. Are you gonna hold this for me? Hold this drugs for me?
Put them
Something
up your butt.
like that. Yeah, and then you don't want to give stuff away because then you look weak.
Mm-hmm.
So then everyone's gonna want something.
What a sociological, I don't know, just happening that we have going on. That's like a civilization within our bigger civilization.
It is. It's like the Vatican is his own country.
These prisons.
The jail is and the prisons are pretty much the same thing. They kind of run themselves.
It's like our country made this, or the world makes these constructs, and then it's like, all right, you guys live this way now. It's kind of bizarre that we just uproot these humans. Some get out,
Most get out.
Most get out.
Nowadays. There was this young kid. He's probably like 20, 21. He had been in jail for probably like 2-3 years already, fighting his case for murder, and then just one day he was like, "Oh, I'm getting released on a own recognizance." Means he has a court date later, but he's getting out. I was like, on murder charges, and he was, oh yeah, murder charges.
Murder charges. I mean, doesn't mean he did it. Antonio Brown accused of sexual assault.
He got released from the Patriots.
He got released from the Patriots today. It's a great day.
That lasted about a week.
It sucks that it's such a heinous crime. And anytime it's brought up, you got to give it its due diligence because that woman deserves justice if it did happen. But sometimes, if it's just a way to money grab, that is like that is probably the worst case of crying wolf anybody, man or woman, could possibly do is sexual assault. That could ruin somebody's life.
We have this thing. It's called PREA. It's the Prison Rape Elimination Act.
Mm-hmm.
And it pretty much means that we have to investigate any type of allegation.
Mm-hmm.
And just like they use it in the real world, they use it in the jails for manipulation. So there's this one inmate who knows that if he files a PREA complaint against the officer can't work there until he's cleared. So every officer that works there, he's this officer
Unpaid?
No. They just get moved to a different section.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say it's an inmate has the power to take a guy out of work.
If like he doesn't like the officer, then he's this officer said he wanted to do this to me, Priya. Then bam, they have to take the officer out.
That's until in that case, does it just become the officer's word versus the inmate?
It's gotten to the point where he's used that Priya card so much that there's cameras.
Mm-hmm.
We have to wear a body camera every time we go in to do our checks.
You think that's a wise idea, not just for you guys, but for officers out in the streets, just to keep everybody accountable?
Yeah, for sure.
It's like if you're clean, then you have nothing to fear.
like don't do anything stupid on the camera.
Just do your job, and you won't get in trouble. Don't be a shiesty shit.
I think it's harder to mess up than it is to not mess up.
I'd say.
Yeah.
If they offer you some Pruno, just say no.
Yeah.
No to Pruno.
No to Pruno. Flush it down the drain.
You might go blind.
Yeah.
That's pretty crazy.
Some of it smells pretty good too.
Really?
Because if there's some who are really good at making it, and some who just aren't.
Rookies.
And
not the good stuff.
Yeah.
Would you have beaten Andy Dufresne senseless if you would have caught him in Sewataneo? If you were at Shawshank, possibly. Say you would have caught him beforehand, or would you have caught him in Mexico?
I don't know.
That's in Sewataneo.
Yeah, that's in somewhere in Mexico. I forget where though. I don't know. It's a hard one.
You see him and you're like, you son of a bitch.
Yeah.
Him and Morgan Freeman are all Red. I guess Red is a Irish guy in the book. That's what my cousin's husband told
to
me.
Make him Morgan Freeman.
Why
Still
not
call him Red?
Make it black. Whatever. It's good.
Yeah,
It's good for diversity's sake. It's good to change the character. I could care less. I know Disney changes a lot of characters to different ethnicities. Who gives a shit? As long as it's a good story, as long as it does the story justice, what does it matter? Our color of our skin. I bet there's aliens just chilling on the moon with microscopes, looking at us monkeys that still haven't gotten it together. We're still angry at each other based on skin or hair or sexual preferences.
It was on the Joe Rogan podcast. I don't know if
laugh.
Joe Rogan said or his guest did, but they were like, there's aliens that probably drive by Earth and
this is a Tijuana.
And go like, no, we gotta stay clear of this place. Like,
this place is a mess.
Yeah.
We just haven't figured it out yet. At the end of the day, this is very childlike, but we all poop. Yeah. We all breathe oxygen, yet we can't figure it out just because we look different.
And speaking of aliens, that Area 51 raid
was that today?
It's happening. It's
happening.
Like the raid doesn't happen. Those are people gathering outside Area 51.
That's pretty dope. Yeah. I think it'll turn into some kind of Burning Man where it's a joke where you go and it'll be an alien themed desert party.
Yeah.
Which would be kind of cool if they did that, made a concert out of it or something.
Yeah.
I don't know, but the whole Naruto run or whatever it is, where everybody's like running with their arms spread out. I don't know. I saw
like behind the back.
Yeah,
right?
I saw Goku do it first, so whatever.
I don't watch children's shows. Yeah.
So I did mention Mexico, and that's our bridge.
Mexico.
And we were at the hour mark. That's usually the length I like to go to, but Mexico. My
home away from home.
Your home away from home.
Yes.
Your home. Home. The casa.
Yes.
What can you tell us about the shenanigans? You've told me off the air many shenanigans. Say as much as little about this home pais of yours. Give us like one tale, like a good time over there.
So every December they have the fiestas, and it's just like
¿Cuántos?
What?
¿Cuántos fiestas?
12 days straight.
Woo!
Of fiestas.
Just had to outdo Hanukkah, didn't you?
Yes, and everyone gets together. It's a sporting. I'll call it a complex, but it's not. It's a sporting place.
Yeah.
And there's like stands and stuff. All the bars from town, they go there, and you lots of drinking.
Claro.
Lots of underage drinking.
Of course.
So yeah, we'd stay out till like 4, 5 in the morning sometimes.
Just sleep till the next afternoon.
No, you gotta wake up early and you gotta
go to work.
You gotta get some pajaretes.
What's pajaretes?
Which is fresh cow's milk.
Ooh.
Straight from the udder. Just into your cup. It's so good. Mix it with some chocolate, some cane alcohol.
Cane alcohol.
And you can put some instant coffee in there.
So do you take a nap at all, or you just? I was gonna say I am absolutely worthless the next day. If I'm up till 2, that next day I am at half a tank. No matter how much coffee I drink, no matter how many naps I take, it's ridiculous.
Yeah, usually you wake up at like 9, go get some pajaretes, go get some food.
Yeah.
Seafood's a good one. Good
Seafood?
little hangover cure.
I gotta have grease. I gotta have some
Or yeah, you get menudo.
bacon. What's menudo?
It's
KS.
It's tripe.
Tripe.
tripe?
Like a fish.
No, tripe.
No, tripe?
Intestines.
Tripes of meat. Intestines.
Yes, it's very good. Go to
I've heard lingua's good.
yeah, it's good. It's mostly like a dinner time thing though. So you
Oh,
really
not
find that in the
breakfast.
morning.
It's unheard of. I'm sorry. I didn't
Yeah.
mean to
So you
insult
just
the
you get some
culture.
food and then you go home and you just kind of nap and you just kind of lounge out the house.
I would just hang out outside with the senoritas.
Yeah.
Drink your drinks out of coconuts.
Yeah. There you go.
Cactus.
This last time we went to Mexico, when Greg goes, he likes.
Greg is who to the
Greg
uninitiated?
is the aspiring lawyer of the family.
The eldest.
The eldest of the
Contreras.
brothers. Also the favorite in the family. It's out
Really?
there.
It's not Jordan?
Oh no. Everyone-
Really?
Like Greg is, they call him the golden child. Like,
Yes.
He can do no wrong.
What? I mean, I've never seen him do wrong.
Exactly.
Greatest baseball player I've ever seen.
So he was gonna take water to the cows, and then it started getting really dark. So we went to go look for him. It's me, my dad, Narita, 3 of my cousins in this little Jeep. There's like 6 of us in this little Jeep, and we're kind of like going up. You got to go up the little freeway, and then you exit off. And when I exit, I'm driving. I exit, and you just see 3 blacked out trucks, guys on top. I'm like, what the heck? And it's the military, so they're like, right away they turn their flashlight. What are you guys doing? Like, oh, you know, like we're looking for my brother. Like the truck doesn't have lights. You know, we haven't heard from him. Well, you guys need to get down so we can search your cars.
So this is a little serious. Get
Yeah.
a little
So we get down and they're searching the car. So what are you guys doing? It's like, oh, like this is our property. Like he brought water to the cows. We're looking for him because there's no lights on his truck. I'm like, okay, well, you guys are good. You're good to go. And then
they didn't extort you or anything like that?
No, not the military. They're pretty honest for the most part. So like, all right, you guys could go. But I got a hold of Greg by that time, and he was already back in town.
What
so,
kept him so long?
that it got dark. he said the only lights on the truck were the reverse lights. So he was going down. He was going down this freeway. It's like through the hills with his phone light.
Oh
just
my
kinda
God.
Out the window just to make sure like maybe someone can see me and not
Yeah,
ran
yeah.
into me. So that was one event
Jesus.
with Greg in the military. And then I would say probably a couple days later, Greg is having a little get together with his old school friends.
Did he grow up there at all or spend...
We were there for we did 2 years.
Yeah.
So he has like classmates that he still talks to and stuff like
Okay.
that. So they got together and he decided to take this truck that we have, but it's not legalized in the state yet.
Mm-hmm.
But it's a really nice bright red Chevy Silverado truck.
Sexy.
From Tamaulipas, which is like a cartel land over by the border.
All right.
You know. So he calls and says, "Hey, like one of the girls' cars died. We need you to come like pull it." So me and my dad go in a different truck, and as soon as we're about to like take the exit to go where he was, and he's like right off the road, again, bam, military trucks. We're like,
These
oh
guys
my
just
God.
got a Woody for you.
So they're like, what are you guys doing? Like, oh, like we're going right here to pull the truck. The car broke down. Well, get down. We're gonna search you. Oh my God. So we're get down,
Again.
and they're searching us again, and we're trying to explain to them like what we're doing because there's like a bunch of rope in the back of the truck. I'm
Is
like,
it just
"What's
because it's at night that they're giving you a hard time?
Yeah, they're just kind of like checkpoints.
Yeah.
Pretty
Yeah.
much. So it's not like just us that they're looking for. So yeah, we pulled the truck. We had to park the red truck in our little compound, not compound, but like
Compound where you hide the rest of the
it's where we have our horses and stuff like
Horses.
that. We parked the truck in there because
It's a funny way. That's a funny word to use for kilos of coca.
yeah,
Yeah.
heavy horses. So yeah, because it would have been a lot of questions like why do you guys have this truck from Tamaulipas and
Yeah.
you're in Jalisco, and so yeah, so pretty much that whole trip Greg just kept getting us in trouble with the military, like
Why?
constantly. Just every time we go look for Greg, bam,
Greg's a menace to society.
he is.
As is Nick Hayes, apparently.
Yeah, Nick.
My
yeah, always.
God.
I have a funny story about Nick and Mexico. Is he went with us.
Nick is our friend as
yes
well
from high school.
He frequents Mexico.
He
Loves
went
it.
with us 10 years ago, and we drove.
My God, we were in high school 10 years ago.
We had just graduated. Just graduated.
Because we went on that trip to Santa Cruz with Taylor Ricky.
Yeah, so I think it was right before we graduated.
Mm-hmm.
So we were driving, and remember where in Mexico we were at, but we had pulled over to get a hotel because it was so late.
Mm-hmm.
So I think my mom and dad were in like trying to get rooms, and me, Jordan, and Nick were stretching our legs. We're just kind of walking around the car, and we just we're right off the freeway too. We just truck just boom flies by, and then there's like 2 or 3 police trucks behind them. Their sirens on, they're chasing. Really? They're saying stop, stop.
To you guys?
No, to this truck that they're chasing. Okay. And they get a little farther down the road, and we just hear pop, 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 pop. They're shooting at each other. And Nick,
holy shit!
And Nick just runs to our Jeep and just Superman dives into the back seat.
Have you never seen him display such athleticism?
No. I think he truly feared for his life at that moment.
Hell yeah! If I heard gunshots, I am finding a cactus to hide behind.
So yeah, we decided to look for a different hotel that wasn't in that area, I guess.
Bullet riddled.
Yeah.
I would have kept driving.
I don't remember exactly. Yeah. I don't know.
That's pretty sketchy. Now, anytime there's any kind of gunshots that I don't know where they're coming from or why they're shot, my butthole tends to pucker a little bit.
Another good one with Nick is that it's New Year's Eve, and Nick is a little intoxicated.
It's a good state to be in. He was
actually drunk a lot, and we were only 18. Nick was getting drunk like every night. Just kidding.
Poor soul.
He wasn't.
He's never been drunk before the age of consent. Yeah.
And so on New Year's, all the Mexicans that have guns, they start firing them. Pop, pop, pop,
claro que sí.
So Nick didn't really know this. So he's outside my aunt and uncle. We're all outside my aunt and uncle's house, and the houses there are built like it's like street, sidewalk, front door.
Right.
There's no front yard.
Okay.
And he just the gunshots, and he just like in the Jeep runs and just Superman dives into the house, thinking like someone's shooting at him or something.
Somebody's out to get him.
He breaks my aunt's coffee cup and feels bad about that. And then,
Gringos.
Yeah, he was a mess.
Causing a damn ruckus.
He had fun.
A drunk Nick is a fun Nick, as long as his wrath does not find you.
Yeah, he likes to get pretty
rowdy.
Yeah, in his young age. We're a lot older now. So
are we really?
Yeah,
it's a state of mind, dude. State of mind.
I'm old.
Well, would you be able to be a prison guard in Mexico? If I may mix the two topics of conversation.
I've never visited a jail in Mexico.
Have you heard things about them?
I don't know. I know that like at the prison, like you can take them food. Like
really?
Like you can take food to them.
And also drugs and whatever
probably,
else you can stuff
I don't know. See, I don't know.
Delicious
I think
meals.
it's a lot more dangerous to be a prison guard out there.
Mm-hmm.
And they probably don't get paid very much, so they're probably more likely to be corrupt.
And working for the cartel.
And, yeah.
There's that one dude that was on Rogan's podcast that was like a federale, or he trained people down there.
Yeah.
And he said he felt happy with himself because he went into that job with the same truck and he left with that truck on a Corvette.
Yeah.
Which, that's probably a really cool way to categorize that entire experience if you're truthful, if you're honest and want to be straight, or if you want to be corrupt and all sorts of crooked.
It's very easy to be corrupt in Mexico.
I just got done watching Narcos, and there's like one scene where it's like this lieutenant's son, and they're at a checkpoint, and this guy pulls up. It's the Los Pepes, and they just give him like a wad of cash.
Yeah.
And he's staring at him. It was just this moral decision of this character. It could, who knows how dramatized this whole thing is.
Yeah.
But he gets on the radio and calls in reinforcements. I was like, that's a fuck yeah, good for you. Like you're morally sound. But what if he had 5 kids eating breadcrumbs every night for dinner? I mean, some of those cops, are they that? Yes, it's corruption, but if it's for the greater good, a means to an end to feed your family.
Yeah, I think if you're corrupt here, it's out of greed.
Yeah. Rather than necessity.
If you're corrupt there, you're kind of like getting a little bit of a better life.
Yeah.
Because I don't think they make very much money. So
probably not.
When they see a wad of cash in front of their face, they're like, oh,
this could help. This is groceries. This
is, it really is.
A step towards a better life, possibly.
Yeah. It doesn't make it right, but
no, not at all. But is it justified, do you think, to let criminals have their sway with whatever cash? Los pesos.
I don't know, because they say that El Chapo, You know, he like built towns and he brought electricity and he did a lot of good.
Did he now?
Even though he was doing a lot of bad.
So much bad.
So he actually won the hearts of a lot of the people because he used to do a lot of good for them.
For a price.
Yeah.
My last question for you. Talking about getting paid off. Everybody's got a price. What's your price? What's your price?
I don't think I have a price. I don't know. It's
Justin.
easy to say.
Justin.
I mean, like yeah.
Everybody's got a price.
I mean, no.
Give me $10. I'll pay for Verduzco.
Yeah, I don't know.
I'll do things for you. You don't know what your price is? I'd say $100,000 to take a little gram and smuggle it in, you know, up a certain orifice, up a certain cavity of the human body.
Yeah, you get that 100,000, but then you get caught and then you go to jail and you don't have anything.
What if you don't get caught and the adrenaline rush of a lifetime? You come home
and then you just keep
with a massive diamond for Narita, and she's like, "Oh, Justin, I knew I loved you. You've bought my love." With $100,000.
There's this documentary. It's called The 5-7, I think, about these corrupt cops in New York.
Yes.
And like, you know, they raise so many questions because they're all driving like brand new Corvettes.
Yes.
And all the other cops are like what's like, are you guys
riding
getting
a
paid more
bike.
than us? Like, what's going on?
That's I've told the people that listen to this show I will be transparent as possible. I'd be lying if I said that this podcast didn't use Rogan's as like a blueprint or some launching pad to turning into something a little bit more unique.
He's like the godfather of podcasts. Everyone references him.
Yeah.
Like,
I would say it's like I just want to be objective and not swing my opinions in one way or the other. I'm very moderate, like down the middle in terms of my beliefs. Tomorrow, my friend Rebecca invited me to this Bernie 2020 party in San Francisco, and I'm just gonna go and observe.
Well, I watched the Bernie podcast.
You know, I like what he had to say.
He's not a crazy old.
No, I actually
crazy old guy like everyone plays him out to be.
No, not at all.
I still wouldn't vote for him, but
I'm not. I just dare I say I don't vote just because the whole system's broken. It's like, why am I gonna feed into this whole system? And they say you can't complain if you don't vote. So I won't complain. That's an easy trade-off. I will not complain. I know everything's screwed up. I'm upset as I could ever be with how corrupt things are. Sure, things will keep on happening, but that doesn't change the fact that I don't need to vote. Like, I can, but until I believe.
But that's the attitude that loses elections.
That is that's a losing attitude.
Says that, right? So you're not the only one saying it. So
what if I voted? Because I think the last time I voted I did not vote. I might have voted when Hillary and Trump went at it for like a third party, just because we need to have more than just two options. They couldn't. Those two are the best in the nation that we had to lead this country. Are you kidding me? Donald Trump and Hillary Clinton are the best. Yes, there are other candidates, but you never hear about that because the other candidates don't have enough money to pay off Fox or CNN or any other news outlet to promote them or even show them on TV. Yep. We need more. Let's see, Thomas Moss.
Just write in your candidate.
Me? Oh,
like we did in high.
Greg.
Do you remember in high school when it was time to vote for like class president or something like that?
Oh yeah,
and everyone wrote Jesse Barstad's name.
Jesse Barstad, wherever he's at. God bless him.
I think he's in Korea right now.
He almost got us killed one time in high school.
Many times.
And I still remember it. And
doing what? Driving?
He was driving up a hill in that big ass white truck of his.
Was he going up to the house?
He's going to my house. He's taking me home. We took the back way home around Lake Solano, and we're going up this hill.
Oh, okay.
And he passes his car up, going up a hill blind, and I lost my shit. I tore into him as soon as he dropped me off. Like, get the fuck out of here! I lost it. I was like, how dare you?
Yeah,
how dare
like
you,
maniac. I remember the first time Narita got in the truck with him.
Uh-oh.
He was just in town visiting from the Air Force, and we were doing like 90 on 80, just weaving in and out of traffic. And she's like,
those people. Yeah. Dude, in the Bay Area, I went to Nevada the other day, and I haven't driven in the Bay Area for such a long time. It's been many months, which I'm very glad because I commuted there every day for like 3 years. And I'm just cruising, and I see this guy that it would have ordinarily set me off on a tangent. It makes you so angry, not just the Bay Area, but traffic in general. But this guy's just weaving in and out of cars. He passed me up to get to these two other cars that are going the same speed. He waits, and as soon as there's a sliver that he may or may not make it through, he takes it. I'm like, what could you possibly? It's not just him or her. It's everybody there. It's this ridiculous mindset.
Yeah.
That I'm going to put my life and everybody else's life in danger because this is what matters. I'm going to get there. It's very selfish. It's almost traffic is like jail, like prison. It's a culture or social construct unto itself.
It reduces us to our just caveman days.
It is. It's a dick measuring contest.
Bash someone on the head.
I honestly, after driving, I didn't have to do it every day. God help everybody that has to go through the Bay Bridge every day. When you hear stories about people getting out of their car and bashing somebody's skull in with a baseball bat, I get it.
Yeah.
I totally get it.
I follow this YouTube channel. It's called Fury Road, and it's all road rage. It's great,
dude. If you let that, it gets into your bones, and you take it out of the car with you, and it just keeps sucking. It's such a negative aura, and you take it out of the car, and it just destroys everybody around you.
Yeah.
So I got to a point where for Lent one day, I'm spiritual, raised Catholic and all that, and may not believe everything that I'm taught to believe. But Lent, I think, is a good challenge to your discipline, and you can take something away that, like, your vices. So, I didn't smoke weed for 40 days and 40 nights. Proved to myself I can do it. Pat on the back. Hooray. I gave up road rage one year. And honestly, just to take a deep breath, say something kind of passive-aggressive and not let it consume you. It can and will consume you. Like, you see how angry people get. It's a fucking joke. Yeah, how hard they rage. It got to the point I couldn't even get out of my parking lot of my apartment building, where somebody backs out kind of in front of me, and I just lose it. No good.
Yeah, I just don't let those type of things make me mad.
You can't let them faze you.
You can't It's really hard to make me
put
angry.
up a mental. I couldn't tell.
It's hard.
I've never seen you angry.
It's just like, why waste your energy to get angry about something that doesn't matter?
Exactly. And I think that's the consensus, if I may drop the biggest word I know, of what I came to. To what end is getting angry and just pissed off with every foot that you inch forward gonna get you there faster?
Yeah.
I call it the human inchworm, because I'd be at the Vallejo ferry going to San Francisco, and it wraps around the dock, and once you see a couple people move, say a couple hundred feet in front of you, you see that line move, everybody's stepping forward.
Yeah.
It's almost like a wave coming towards you. It's a goddamn
like,
giant
like
inchworm.
When traffic is like bumper to bumper,
that's all it is.
It finally starts going, and then you see 10 cars in front of you start moving, and then it slowly gets to you, and then it's your turn.
So what I do, just to see if the person behind me is that thirsty, I'll check my mirror. Say we haven't moved in, say, 20 minutes. Crazy example. I'm like, okay, I got a little space ahead of me between me and the person in front. I'll move forward like half a foot, and then I'm like, they totally moved. Like, we haven't moved in so long, and then they take that little extra.
Yeah.
So us humans are funny, aren't we?
Incredible.
We lock each other up. We sit in traffic together. We bludgeon each other's heads in. We hate each other for the color of our skin or what hole or we like to stick things into or not. It's what a time to be alive and dead,
times.
I suppose. What are our takeaways from this episode? We've been going hard to an hour and a half. I love it.
That's a long time.
Fuck
I feel
yeah.
like we just started too.
Just started.
We didn't even get into much.
Not we'll get more into Mexico later, but I think we got a good amount of.
For sure.
So what should people take away from what's going on with the correction facility Enterprise?
Don't believe TV. Cause
You're saying you should do our own research and come to our own conclusions based on.
You're better off not researching and not believing TV than just watching the TV. Cause
what should be their overall emotion towards jail in general?
I'm kind of skewed because I work in the jail.
A little biased.
So, people put themselves in the situations they're in for the most part.
Yeah, of course.
For the most part.
There's always circumstances. There's always some, I know this guy. Take your anecdotes, shove them.
There's second chances or third chances, but, there's a dude that always comes. He's been arrested like 50 plus times. Like, at what point is it his fault and not, the society's fault?
50 times.
More than that,
That's
probably.
a record. That's pretty good.
Yeah.
Sweet.
Yeah.
Well, I guess we should take away as well that don't go to jail.
Yeah, don't
do it.
It's really easy to be a good human being.
It is. I've gotten, a parking ticket before. I've had my mishaps.
Yeah.
But I don't think it's. But I mean, again, I say it in numerous episodes whenever I don't want people to get upset with me. I'm just saying, from my point of view, I'm a white guy.
Wow.
Born and raised in Winters, California. Half white, half Mexican. I was not born in the ghetto or in some. I have two parents that love me. I totally see that I've had a different view of the world. I've been babied and coddled. Mm-hmm. It hasn't been that hard to stay out of trouble. Sometimes I go over the speed limit. Sometimes I jaywalk. Sometimes at In-N-Out Burger, I'll be like, give me a water cup, and I'll fill a 7-Up. I'm bad, Justin.
Yes.
I'm bad. All the
report
ladies
you.
listening are just give them a sponge. That's inappropriate. That's very inappropriate. Hopefully, some guys are listening too. Hopefully, there's everything in between. People. I want people to listen.
I'm
to
sure
be inspired.
your audience will be expanding soon.
You know, let's hope so. Spread this episode like a disease.
Oh, I gotta listen to it first, see how good it is.
I got you. It'll be very. I'll do
you.
you justice. There, like whatever is. If there's mumbles or anything, I'll cut stuff, trim stuff up. There's gonna be a little background music. It'll be good.
Sounds good.
It'll be moist to the ears.
You need to find a door, like a cell door shutting.
Ooh,
sound. Yeah.
And I give this episode many a Owen Wilson wow.
Yeah.
Like at least 8.5.
Wow, 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 wow.
Possibly 9 for our first run through, huh?
How do you half?
What? I'll cut
stop
it.
it.
Maybe I'll cut it off halfway through.
Wow.
My God, in this audio engineering. No, I'm not. But anyways, all right. Thank you, Justin, for wasting your time.
I'm glad
with
I
me.
finally got to do this. I was waiting. I didn't
We're here.
I didn't want to say, hey, Aaron, I want to be on your podcast, but I was like, he'll ask.
It's
One
not
day
too
he'll ask.
bad. Today's the day, the 20th of September. Here we are, and it'll be the first of many encounters.
Yeah.
Because we also have.
think we need-
there's a lot more Mexico I want to talk about.
We need to get a group one with like.
Dude,
Yeah.
I did that with the stockings.
Yeah.
Get you, your brother, and Nick in here. We can reminisce in high school, have some beers.
Definitely.
Or, sorry, maybe some mezcal or something. You're not a beer guy.
Some tequila.
Some Pruno.
Yeah, maybe I'll make a batch.
Please do.
Give me about a week ahead of time, and I'll make a batch.
You got 1 week, and that's it. All right, you guys. What? I had to sign off. I don't know if I'm in love with it. I say live before you die, but that sounds a little corny.
Yeah.
Live before you die. I want to ask, maybe ending it with a question like, do you? Because I want people to hear this and do their own goddamn projects. This is my thing I never thought I'd ever do, the podcast.
The boss just walked in.
Uh-oh. The Jefe.
Oh, the honor.
Renee, we're doing a podcast.
1 week?
Oh, yeah. This is the most, see, breaking the mold. Usually there's like 3 years before reappearances, but alas, it's been a few days. All right, everybody, I'm just going to say what I said like in my college at K-Sun Radio. My sign off. Booyah. Bye-bye.